I just thought at the end of the day, I'm really, really busy. I don't really have the time. But if in 5-10 years they're building on this land, could I live with myself?
Residents in Guildford sprang into action when the 37 acres of Pewley Down fields went up for sale to save it from developers. They had 2 weeks to raise the money.
It was just all hands to the pump. It was such, I can't tell you how stressful those 2 weeks were. But at the end of the day, we did it. So that was great. We were really very pleased with ourselves.
The local school also got involved with raising money so the children could continue to have access to the fields and learn about nature.
If you speak to children, they have a passion, even more than us, for the climate and the environment into the future, and it's their number one priority.
The importance of this part of the Greenbelt is because it connects to the local nature reserve, creating a so-called wild belt corridor.
So the idea of the wild belt is that wildlife can move from beautiful wild fields like this and into larger areas like this. So wildlife can actually thrive alongside the urban environment.
The wild belt is something that the Wildlife Trust are lobbying government to include in planning laws, which the government is considering. There are plans to build 250,000 houses across the London metropolitan Greenbelt. Can that be done and protect wildlife, or will something be lost in that equation?
It cannot be an either-or discussion. It must be, how do we accommodate what we need to achieve in terms of nature, in terms of climate adaptation and mitigation, but also in terms of providing the right sort of housing in the right place for people to live in. A thoughtful development can actually improve the biodiversity by bringing in native hedgerows, by bringing in rain gardens, wetland areas to remove surface flooding, and by putting in things like green roofs and green walls.
The community couldn't have raised the full sum of money for the land without the help of the Wildlife Trust and a local philanthropist who put up some 60% of the funding.
People really need to just stop thinking about their own bank balances and put something back into the community if they possibly can, because it just seems that the people with the least are the people who donate the most in any charitable endeavour, and it's got to stop.
Now the government has to decide how to deliver its promise to build, 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 while meeting its environmental commitments. Leana Hosea, BBC London.